What is up, guys? It's Wheezy here, and welcome to episode 19 of Pay to Glory. 19 episodes in, I can't even believe it. I want to start the video by thanking everybody for their support on the channel so far. If you guys could leave a like on this video, I'd be very thankful. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I greatly appreciate everybody who's subscribed, all the support so far in the series. It's been amazing, and you're helping the channel grow through 2018. It's still a relatively small channel, but the support you guys have had on the latest videos has been absolutely massive, so thank you guys for that. Today's video, we're going to do some things a little bit different. I'm going to start the video off by covering a little bit of information surrounding Team of the Year and the new Team of the Week. So some of the feedback I've been getting is I like where the series is going, but maybe you could cover a little bit more about what's been happening in the community, some of the top line news. So I'm not going to do this in every single video, but for today's video, I just wanted to cover some of the stuff that's been happening surrounding Team of the Year and where the Team of the Year is going. And how to actually vote for it, and who I think is actually going to make the Team of the Year. So as you guys are going to see here, the Team of the Year vote, I'll put some screenshots. You basically go to Futhead or Futwiz, or I believe Futwiz has it, or Futbin, and you can just go to any of those kind of sites and I believe vote. So I'm just using Futhead right now as an example. So the Futhead vote, you go on the main page, it's right at the top, it's a banner, you click on the banner, it takes you into the Team of the Year section, and then the top banner from that page will actually be how to vote. So I always thought that it was just very community driven, in the sense that you were only going to get it from or the people that only affect the vote, or the people that received any of those boxes, so the real kind of big name YouTubers and influencers. But apparently everybody's vote affects this. So I went in and voted. My vote, as you guys are going to see here, is Griezmann, Messi, Sanchez, De Bruyne, Thiago Dele Alli, David Luiz, Felipe Luis, David Alaba, Sergio Ramos, and David De Gea. I did this for two reasons. One is, selfishly, I just voted for the players that I wanted. I know a lot of them aren't going to make the final team, so I wasn't that concerned with it. But I basically just voted for the guys that I would like to have. Also, at the time that I voted, I didn't know that my vote actually affected it. I thought we were just kind of doing this as a casual vote for like a poll on Futhead, so I didn't really put a whole lot of thought into it. So if I really were to do it again, I might change the odd guy, but I didn't vote for guys like Ronaldo or Sanchez or Neymar because or Suarez, excuse me, but just because I know that they're going to be in the team anyway. I wasn't really that concerned with it. So here's the team that I think is actually going to make the final. So this is actually just a picture that I took off of Twitter that someone else voted for on Futwiz, I believe. But this is the exact team that I think is just going to win the final vote. It's going to be Neymar, Ronaldo, Messi, De Bruyne, Kante, Modric, Marcelo, Sergio Ramos, Bonucci, Valencia, and David De Gea. Now, with that being said, I've seen crazier things happen where other guys have slipped into the team. I think the top three attackers pretty much guaranteed to make that team. The midfield's a little bit more of a wild card. De Bruyne, Kante, Modric, I think any of those three are interchangeable. I think Modric is pretty solid in there, but De Bruyne and Kante, you could potentially see someone else slip into there. And then from a defensive standpoint, I think Ramos, Marcelo, and Valencia, surprisingly, just because so many people would want Valencia, would be the guaranteed three. Bonucci might be a little bit more of a wild card just because there might not be a lot of people that really want a Bonucci card just because he's too slow, and we all know that there's a lot of pace whores in the community. And David De Gea is, in my opinion, almost guaranteed to be the keeper for the team. So that's going to be the team that I would expect to come out on Monday. You'll probably see it, either defenders or attackers first, or maybe even midfield this year, but they'll do probably 2 or 3 days of each team, or each section of the team, and then on the final day for probably at least 3 or 4 days, maybe even a week, you'll probably see the entire team. So at least hold your packs out for once the entire team's out, give you the best chance to actually pack any of these players. But all of them are going to be very dominant. They're all going to be very expensive, and it's going to be a really cool Team of the Year. Also, the Team of the Week came out today. It's Wednesday morning. The Team of the Week wasn't really that impressive. The only card really that people are going to go crazy over is going to be Gareth Bale, striker Gareth Bale, and that's just because he'll link, Ronaldo and Messi's together and whoever else, that's a card that's going to be very, very expensive, so I don't expect too many people to have it, but you're probably going to see it in a lot of weekend league teams where really hardcore players that have a lot of coins are going to be spending money. He's going to be going for well north of $1 million. I would even dare to say that he's probably going to be close to 2. The rest of the Team of the Week is very, very average. Koulibaly might fit in a couple teams. Maybe Sergio Roberto if people want him, but he's a little bit slow for a right back. But there's not too many right backs in La Liga that are really that great. So you might see the odd guy use him. He's got decent defending, but the rest of the team is very average. Sessegnon maybe, but I don't know too many guys that use championship teams, and then the rest of the players are kind of very average. You might see them in the odd team, but probably not in too many like FUT champs teams. Maybe the odd team here and there, but I expect a lot of people to be complaining because they're going to pack Baz Doss, the biggest troll card in FIFA. But other than that, the team of the week, very average. Andy Carroll's in there, Obiang, and then just a bunch of players from the rest of the world leagues that a lot of people don't really use anymore, which is kind of sad. But that's the reality that we're in. So I want to also take a look in the future at potentially making a video surrounding the history and the origin of FUT. A lot of people ask me a lot of questions about like when I worked there, about the very early days and where the actual idea came from. So that's a video that I'd like to make. So if you guys can leave a like on this video and continue the momentum, if I see the channel grow enough, I'm definitely up for making one that I would really like to just talk about the history of the game, where it came from, what game it was based off. It was actually based off of another game that is out there, so a lot of people don't know that, where the idea came from, who invented it, so all of that kind of stuff. I think it'd make a really cool video, and I'd love to make that for you guys if we can get some momentum going. So if you guys can leave likes down on the video and just follow the channel, we'll look at making that for the near future. So now we're going to get into some of the actual gameplay. We've talked about the news, so let's get into the actual DKT run that I did and whether I qualified for FUT Champs this week. Alright guys, so into the DKT we go. So I haven't really played that much of the daily knockout tournaments just because I haven't had that much time to play weekend league anyway, so winning it hasn't really been that concerning to me. Also, the prizes aren't really that awesome, so there's not really much point in actually playing it, but I decided to go for a run just to see if I could. The first opponent we come up against, Martin something, he had a very standard 4-4-2 La Liga team. This guy was a really interesting opponent, so he felt like a lower league player, kind of like a Division 7, Division 8 type of guy. And that's not to insult anybody, but you could just tell by the way he played. So for the first couple minutes here, right off the kickoff, he just passed back to his keeper, and he was just passing around his D right off the start. I don't know if he was intimidated by my team, but he made one mistake, just passed it right into Maradona, Maradona into Lacazette. Lacazette hammers it home, we're up 1-0. So that was my first touch of the ball. He was just passing around his D. He wasn't really going anywhere. He wasn't trying to move forward, and I think he just got kind of lazy with it. Made a bad pass, and I just made him pay for the mistake. So he wasn't a great player in that sense, and like I said, this is not to insult anybody. You don't have to be like a FIFA master. Everybody doesn't have to play Ultimate Team as crazy as some of us do, but you could tell that he just wasn't the strongest player that we played against. So we ended up going up 2-0 here, a little bit lucky on the bounce. But the funniest thing with this was anybody that plays a lot of Ultimate Team knows where I'm coming from here, and that when you play some of the weaker players, you almost overthink yourself. So if you've got a defender and you're playing against a really good player, like the player might jockey, so you have to kind of cut in and then cut back out. Against guys like this, he was almost not biting, so I would cut in and then just run into his standing player. And this is another example of playing against some of the lower level players. This guy was just running straight, and I was sitting there so worried about cutting his passing lanes off that I just ignored the fact that he wasn't really trying to like pass the ball. He was just running in a straight line, so he actually got a lot further up the field than he probably should have, just because I was overthinking the defending. So we end up making it 3-0 with Maradona. Nice little give and go. You can see he's kind of sliding around, making really odd attempts at trying to defend it. He was just getting overwhelmed when I was attacking with speed. He would also pull his keeper out, which would throw me off. Like I was just overthinking almost everything. And then Dele Alli comes in and gets slide tackled by this kind of fluky slide tackle block. Poor Dele Alli still hasn't yet to score a goal for the club, but he has been really solid for the team, so I do recommend him still, but he is not the best goal scorer for me. A chance right there. I thought he was going to get a penalty because he slid tackled Maradona in the box, but somehow I guess he got away with it. But you guys can see here, I'm just getting away with, passing in and out, but, again, Dele Alli smashes it off the post, so I was feeling pretty confident we were going to be able to make it 4. Another effort from Maradona hits the post, but I was just getting unlucky. I felt like it was only a matter of time, especially once his team starts to fatigue in the second half, that, my ability to keep possession and pass the ball around his D, I probably would have unlocked the door for even more goals, but he was just, he was really holding on for dear life. Once he went up 3, though, I wasn't able to get that 4th. It just didn't come, so we just kept going at this guy, but this was really the only opportunity that I could really find that he had. He got forward on that one, so as you guys can see here, there's a lot of chances that we had. And then just certain things like this, I was just like, you know what, this guy's not a great defender, maybe we'll just run at him. So I thought I was going to get a fourth, but again, another great save from Diego Lopez, and we just couldn't get that silly fourth goal. So we end up going into the half only up 3-0. I'd say only, but it wasn't like it was really ever in doubt. I never really felt like that concerned, even though we were up 3-0, and I usually feel like that's the worst lead you can have, is 3-0 within the first 20 or 30 minutes. I don't think there was ever really any doubt that I was going to come out the victor in this game. He ends up getting a red card with Laporte, and funny enough, he pauses, and I was expecting him to quit, but he paused it and then just went right back into the game. So I don't know what he was doing. I thought he was going to leave the game, but if he hadn't left after this, I was just like, okay, well, this guy probably won't quit because he probably wants to see it out or get the coins or whatever he wants to do, but he wasn't going to quit out of this game. So I take the free kick, and then right after the free kick, he basically pauses it on the goal kick and essentially just quits out. So we get the corner kick here. I take the corner kick, he clears it out, and then as you guys can see, he just pauses it, and then of all things decides then to leave. So whatever his reason for it was, that's when he decided to leave the gameplay. So if he wants to leave, he can leave, but it was just a really odd time because I thought after the third goal in the 17th minute he would have bounced, but he decided to stick with it, and maybe I guess he thought he had a chance to win, which didn't end up happening, so he ends up leaving because that corner kick, I guess, was just too much for him. But we do get the first win. We head into the second round. The second round opponent had a La Liga team again. La Liga teams, actually, I've come across them a lot more recently, so maybe it's just becoming more popular as Team of the Year comes out. But he had more of a team that I was a little bit more concerned with. Not a super expensive team. He had Dembele, he had Ben Yedder, who's an awesome player. Deulofeu can be hard to play against. Umtiti is a good defender. Oblak's tough to break down. But the guy that actually shone for this guy was... Luka Modric. Luka Modric was actually a really good card for this guy. He was really hard to beat in the midfield. He's just a real workhorse. This guy was a really patient player. That was a chance that he had. I hadn't even had possession yet. He just took it off kickoff. He was trying to be really patient around the top of the box and just create opportunities for himself. But he was really predictable. It was kind of slow, so it was easy for me to just read and get all my men back. He wasn't attacking with pace. It was this slow, kind of methodical build-up play. So with guys like that, I just do the opposite, and I just try to rush at them and try to get at them because the guys like this like to play slow. We do end up getting the first goal on my first attack, essentially with Maradona. I give Maradona full credit for that. That's just the icon card coming into play here. You'd see from the way he creates opportunities for himself, the way he turned in that little space there. But on the goal, I don't know if you can go back and watch it, but he essentially knocks the ball past Felipe Luis. He actually had a decent position on me, but he knocks the ball past Felipe Luis and goes around the other side of him. And that wasn't me. I didn't do that. That was actually the icon card doing it. So that's the really high dribbling, the really high ball control, and that's making, the card for me worth its value. He just absolutely is awesome on the dribble, and he created that chance for himself. Of course, I had to hit shoot and everything like that, but in terms of the ball retention, you're probably not going to get that with some low-level cards. We end up making it 2-0. Lothar Matthäus smashes a goal. That's his 92, 93 shot power coming into effect there. He's not the best finesse player, but he just smashes the ball. And then I thought we had a third here with Maradona. I took it in a little too close, was trying to finesse it. A low-driven shot into the corner, but I ended up running into the keeper. But like I said, this guy was just getting, really scared at the fact, not scared's not the right word, but he was getting overwhelmed, I guess, by the fact that I was just attacking him with pace. So this guy, you could, like I said at the start of the game, he liked to really slow the game down. He was trying to be very methodical. So with guys like that, I just rush at them and just try to use speed and pace and get them off their, get them out of their comfort zone, because guys don't like playing out of their comfort zone, and that's another example of that. He was hoping that I would just come at him with more of a slow, methodical type of attack, but I was just really rushing him, and he just got caught changing players, and I just basically went around him with Matthäus. Right here, you can see, I don't know if they won't show you, obviously, the player switching, but he was trying to player switch in the back there. He just got flustered, and I just sprinted past him, finessed a shot by him, and next thing you know, we're up 3-0. So at this point he was still in the game, but it was had so much possession. You could tell that he was trying to figure out how to change up his style on the fly. He was still trying to be patient, but shots like this, those are just more kind of hope and a prayer type shots. Like before, he might have been a lot more comfortable with taking it into the box, but I was just holding possession, so he didn't really have a lot of room to operate in the midfield, and I definitely didn't give him anywhere in the box to generate anything, so he was just totally overwhelmed and was just resulting to long distance shots. And then Maradona here, again, the icon card. Icons are just so overpowered this year. That was just Maradona's icon card coming into play, so he just retains the ball in the midfield here, even after the guy potentially would have tackled him there, keeps it, and then smashes a volley far post top corner. So, like, that's just, I still knew that, Maradona had the ball. I still decided to take the shot, but I give full credit to the card on that one. That was just, the card being so overpowered. I wouldn't have felt that confident taking that shot with a lot of other players, but with Maradona, you can just hit shoot, and these shots are just flying in. He did end up stop playing for a little bit. He'd kind of come and go. This one was still actually really hard because the computer, you could see there, made it very difficult to score. Like the computer almost was, no offense to this guy, but was actually almost defending as well as he was, because the computer just rushes you and tackles you and makes it really hard. It's not like you can easily go and score a goal. So that was actually really hard to score. That was actually a really hard goal to score against nobody, if that makes sense. And then he scores this one, this own goal. My guy just automatically did a pump, the push-up celebration, but I don't know what he was doing. I guess he was just frustrated at this point and ends up scoring an own goal. But then he decided to come back and play because he knew that I wasn't going to stop scoring goals, but we end up scoring another one on him when he actually did start to come back and play. It was the 90th minute, so maybe I got some 90th minute cheese there, but he was fully playing at the end of the game there. And then again, after I scored this goal, he just stopped playing. So off the kickoff, he just sat there, and here, I don't know why, he just decided to stop playing. So we actually had to fast forward and edit that clip in order to show the end of the game here, because he just stopped playing. So 7-0. Not as easy as the scoreline were to make it out to be. He wasn't actually that bad an opponent. I just don't think he wasn't the strongest. He wasn't playing towards the meta of the game. You could tell that he understood how to fundamentally move the ball around, but unfortunately in FIFA you need to be a little bit spammier than that. You need to rush at guys and just kind of break the game a little bit. So he obviously hadn't gotten that memo quite yet. So he's not a bad player, Torreya or whatever his name is there. Alberto FC, so he's got the potential to be a good player because he actually moved the ball around well, held possession, but it was just a little too slow, a little bit too easy to read, and thankfully for us, we end up coming out with a victory. So we head into the semi-final here. We come up against this guy. This guy had a very kind of spammy EPL team, PPL team. Nemesis was the guy's squad name, but he had, the guys that traditionally can scare you. Yaya Toure is very overpowered still. Ederson, Smalling. And then when I saw Heung-min Son and Sterling, I just thought, here we go. This is going to be very spammy. And this guy was very spammy. He, you could just see from the clips, he just actually ran at me all the time. Every time I got the ball, he would just rush me. And sometimes that actually works really well. Thankfully, we end up scoring a goal very early on off our first corner. A header comes in, and then I just snuck it in near post with Griezmann. So I was very happy with that, because these are the types of guys that the longer the game goes, the more they pick up steam, and they're actually scarier as the game goes on. So I was very happy to get an early lead, get this guy on the back foot, and have to make him do something special in order to score. As we come up, you guys are going to see, he just rushed everything. As soon as I would get the ball, he would just draw a guy over, and it was actually causing problems. On that instance, you'd see Smalling actually, I should have slipped a pass by him, but instead the Smalling card intercepts that ball. So it was actually proving to be very useful. Again, another instance here where he would just run me down. It wasn't about getting into defensive positions. It was just about running me down, playing really spammy, and this is the type of stuff that he would do. He would just run to the byline, and then if I had position on him, he would just cut back. He was just running down the wings pretty much and trying to spam either balls across the box, or he was just trying to get it across and get a shot as quickly as possible. So I could see why this guy had won his first 2 games, because he wasn't a bad player. He played to the meta of the game, which is just really speedy, really spammy, and you'll overwhelm a lot of people You can go up 4-5-0 really easily if you just play really spammy. I don't condone it. It's not the way I like to play. I think it's kind of ugly football. And no offense to this guy, I'm not insulting him for doing it. But it's just, it's going to get you wins. But unfortunately for this guy, because we had such an overpowered team at this point, which I'm very proud to say, having a really good team, you can combat that pretty easily. So as this guy was trying to get out of his back line there, we were able to intercept that pass, drive it in, and he thought I was going to take it with Griezmann, but I played one more tramp pass across to Maradona, got that second insurance goal, and believe me, that goal just it just took a weight off my shoulders, because I knew that this guy potentially had the ability to get one spammy fluke goal, so I was just really concerned with him counterattacking me or something like that. So that second goal, honestly, I wouldn't feel too confident playing with a 2-0 lead against a lot of guys, but 2-0 made me feel a lot more comfortable with this guy, just because I knew that I had the defensive ability to withstand his attacks at this point, so I wasn't really that concerned with it, and he was resulting to a little bit more panicky shots. I wanted to slip a little pass in here. Unfortunately, I don't know what the hell that pass was. And then he does stuff like this. He did the roulette there, and I was thinking, oh my god, this is going to be a goal. He's going to fluke something. But a fantastic slide tackle from Danny Rose. That butt miss card did it all. So those were the types of attacks I was kind of having to weather in the second half. He wasn't generating too much. I was able to kind of keep him at bay with my defense, and he wasn't really creating that many opportunities. It was just kind of a midfield battle, and we ended up winning 2-0. So a little bit of a boring game. For me, it was just, make sure I weather his storms of just him rushing down the wings. As soon as he would get the ball, he'd rush it out to the sideline as quickly as possible and try to bomb down the wings, and then either whip in across or drive across low along the floor and try to smash something in. So as long as you can keep those at bay, then you're pretty much going to win those types of games. And then we come into the final against this guy. This guy's got that PSG kid, so automatically I'm starting to think, oh, he could be a really good player. And he's got a 4-1-2-1-2 team. Vardy, Lacazette, Dele Alli again, but Willian and Sanchez. Atlantic City was the guy's team name. A very good player here. He's also got Bailly and Bakayoko, Kyle Walker, who's basically a right back and a center back, because those guys with pace, they're just so overpowered. And you could tell right off the bat, just from some of the gameplay, just that this guy defended well. You can see, look at the amount of players he's got around the ball. Every time I would get it, it was just smothering. He was just he was playing very, very smothering football, and he was very hard to break down. So I knew I had to create something really special in order to score a goal. I thought I had one here off that header from Mateus, but unfortunately Mateus heads it right into the keeper. Those are the types of opportunities that you don't want to waste too often, because you know that they're not going to come up against an opponent like this that often. Got the ball there with Maradona, thought I'd have a go. Ederson again saves it. So I was kind of a little bit worried, but after this goal, beautiful little play inside. Griezmann, slips a pass into Maradona, and again, that's that icon. His movement is so good. I don't know if you'll see it in the replay, but most players wouldn't make that little run there, but just this pass inside, Maradona identifies it. A little slip run there, takes it into his right, and just a quick little double tap. Finesses it into the corner. So I was over the moon with that type of goal. Those are the types of goals that I like to score in tight with just lots of opponents around, just kind of wiggle through. Those are the ones that I like to score personally. They make me feel good about it. And then off kickoff, I left this in because this guy was just onslaughting me. I was worried about a kickoff cheese. This guy seemed like the type of guy that knew enough about the game that he knew that he needs to score really quickly here and keep that momentum going from the kickoff. Thankfully, we were able to squash that attempt by just smothering him defensively. So we get a nice little give-and-go play with Lacazette. I was able to make it 2-0 there. A great return ball. Lacazette smashes those into the corner. He's not going to miss those shots. So those are the types of ones that I'm not going to worry about low driven or worried about finesse. I'm just going to walk into that and smash it into the far post, just because you don't want to tempt fate. You don't want to leave anything to chance. You just want to walk in and hammer that into the bottom corner, and thankfully did. So 2-0, I was feeling a lot more comfortable, but this guy has the ability to do this right off the kickoff. Like I said, kickoff cheese is always something that I got to worry about. It hits the post. Obviously none of my defenders do anything. His guy collects it and slips it in. So kickoff goal, I was a little irate at that, but what are you going to do? Those things happen, and I just got to keep that in my mind for the future. That kickoff's a little bit of foreshadowing there. He gets the ball here again off of my kickoff. I turned it over, and he actually had switched the momentum to his favor, so he almost scored again there. I don't know if he hit the post, but he ends up missing, squandering that chance. So I was worried that he was actually going to tie it up before the half. I had another opportunity here with Maradona. I thought I had the chip finish. I've never been that great at chipping, so I wasn't feeling super confident, but I thought I'd give it a go here. I'm not really that great at understanding how much power to put on a chip, so it wasn't necessarily something that I thought I was going to score, but I thought, maybe give it a go, give it something, and it was a lot closer than I was expecting, but I would have liked to have made it 3-1 there. I would have been a lot more comfortable again. I thought I had another opportunity, but that pass from Maradona was a little weak, gave him the opportunity to come and slide tackle with Eric Bailly. Gave me a free kick. Again, because it was such a tight game, I wanted to play a really high percentage pass and ended up squandering that. And then this guy was just coming at me in waves, and this stupid finish right here, this really annoyed me. Musa was just running at me in this weave run. So I was holding track, and then when I had position on him, I was hitting tackle, and he didn't do anything, and it just allowed Musa to walk right in and hit it with his left in this kind of goofy shot that just flies by Courtois. So I was really annoyed at that one because I thought I had really good defensive position. I didn't think that was a justified goal, but he ends up scoring, and then right off kickoff, I'm just like, you know what, my kickoff cheese time. Play it over to Danny Rose. Danny Rose smashes it in, low-driven shot into the far post, and I don't condone kickoff goals. I think they're stupid. I want them removed, but in this case, he scored one, so I was just like an eye for an eye, and I was fine with this one. Maybe it's just because it's me and I want to win, but at the same time, I was like, I don't care. At this point, I just want the victory here. So Danny Rose goes in. Everyone else scores them. Why not me? Give me a chance. And then this guy was generating, so much offense. He had gone ultra attacking, and I left these clips in to show because ultra attacking, there was a lot of opportunities where my guy should have been away, but the passes are under hit, and it gives the defenders an opportunity to get back in the game. This was just a chance right at the end. I was just like, you know what, he's going to weave run at you. He's going to try to score any type of fluky goal. So just basically weather the storm, play real safe passes out to the wing, and just see out the rest of the game. That was all I was doing. I just went on defensive and basically just played everything to the wing, played it safe, and tasked it up, I guess. So we end up getting the win. We end up winning the DKT, and we qualify for the Weekend League. I don't know if I'll play any Weekend League games. Don't bank on it, just because that's the time I get to spend with my girlfriend, so I'm not going to waste it playing Weekend League. No offense to you guys that like to play Weekend League. It's just not my cup of tea. So it's a little bit more stressful than I like. But if I get a chance, I might get in the game here or there. But other than that, that's going to be the end of the video, guys. So if you could leave a like on the video down below, I really appreciate it for this DKT victory. Until next time, guys, take care. Peace.